Good morning, friends. I hope you have your favorite hot drink in hand. Mine this morning is a peppermint tea. Smells divine. We still have trees up. We're not quite done with the whole Christmas thing yet. But if you've been around for a while, you know that I am currently pregnant with baby number 5. It is a precious little boy. We are so excited to welcome him into our home, but naturally we've been talking a lot of baby names. So I thought, you know what? In case any of you are in the same season of life or maybe just enjoy baby names and ideas that way, I hope this video is helpful to you. I know I've been watching a lot of these. I've been looking up a lot of baby name lists on Pinterest and things like that, and this is my current baby name list. Now, spoiler alert, I think we have our first name nailed down, but the second one is still a little up in the air, and so one of these names may actually end up being our baby boy's second name, but we are just not quite settling on one. So if you have any baby name suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. Baby boy names for my sake. If you have any baby girl names, anybody watching this video will probably thank you. I know that's what I've been doing, watching the baby name videos and then through the comments, because there's so many more like amazing suggestions in the comments usually. So I would love your input down there. I can't wait to read through those comments and maybe we'll finally finalize our second name. I think I have 12 boy names and 12 girl names. I'm gonna start off with the boy names and we'll head on through. The first name on my list is Blythe. I think this is so cute. Now, I am an avid Anne of Green Gables fan, so that's probably why, but I think this is adorable for a little boy, especially maybe as a second name. Doesn't go with our first name we've picked out, so unfortunately that's not the one, but I think it's adorable and it would be so cute to have a little Blythe running around. My second name is Wilder. Now, I don't know what you would really call my style of names. I just see a name and I like it, but I would say maybe more into like the vintage or like earthy names I really am drawn to, and Wilder, I don't know, it just sounds kind of manly even for a little boy. The third name is Archer, or Archie for short. I think this is so cute. I see it more though as a like boy's name versus a man. Like a man, I mean definitely not Archie for a man, but maybe Archer, I don't know. I love this name. A lot of these names, the reason we're not going with them is because Josh doesn't care for them. So that's always the fun thing, trying to figure out a name you both love. We both love the first name we've picked out though, so we're good there. Next is Harrison. I love the name Harrison, but I don't love Harry. And so I feel like you always have to think of nicknames and what people are gonna name them for short. And I'm pretty sure Harrison would get shortened to Harry. It could also be like Sunny, but then Sunny is actually a girl's name, right? Maybe it can be either. I don't know. I just feel like that's too risky if I don't like Harry, but we would name him Harrison. Next is Augustus. I think this is so sweet. I guess you'd name him Augie for short. I don't know. But another name that Josh is not super fond of. Next is River. Now this I think can be boy or girl. Again, I would not do it as a first name, but maybe as a second name. I think it is so charming and sweet. And then is Edmund with a U, not an O, specifically. How adorable is that? A little Edmund. I have 2 Uncle Edwards, and so that name is pretty out for us. It's too similar to all of the others, but it is one of my favorites. And then there's Boyd. I think this is, again, adorable. I would name him Bo for short. How sweet. And speaking of which, I also like just the name Bo. I don't feel like it really goes with the rest of our kids' names, and I don't think Josh is very fond of it either. So anyways, really sweet though. Next is Wells. I think this is often just short for Wellington maybe, but I love the name just Wells or Wellesley for short. I think it's so sweet. And then I have Bronson. I like this name on paper. I don't know if I love the sound the sound of it as much. It almost sounds too much like Branson. Next is Brooks. This is maybe more of a modern name compared to a lot of the others, but I think it's really sweet. I feel like the second, if this was the first name, you should have a 2-syllable second name, or vice versa. I don't know. I kind of like the few syllable for one name and then a short of the other name. I think that flows well. Next up is Kingston, and I think again it is so sweet, but I don't feel like it would go well with our last name, but I love how just manly it sounds. And then my last baby boy name is Zion. I love this, especially just thinking of like the biblical meaning of Zion, and I think we actually have friends who have a son named Zion, but again, I'm not quite sure how you would shorten it or nicknames for the name. So anyways, moving right along on to girl names. My first one on the list is Eviana. Now I know Eliana is pretty common, but I think with the V, Eviana is so sweet. You could shorten it to Evie, which definitely does not work for us because I have a niece named Evie. So that one's out for us, but I think it sounds so musical and pretty. And I did notice that I have a couple E names for girls here. Next up is Eloise. Again, I cannot get over how pretty it sounds. It also looks really pretty on paper, and something about it just sounds musical to me. I think it's so pretty. Next is Flory, and I'm so drawn to how names look on paper, like how they're written, and this one is so pretty. And just y'all know how much I love my flowers and gardening and stuff in the summer, and so a lot of these like floral names really catch my attention. I've also seen dahlia be used recently, which y'all know that farming dahlias in the summer, that could be a good fit, or maybe too dahlia'd for us, I don't know. But I've noticed a lot of like flower names being used as baby names, especially baby girl names, like even I think I've seen daffodil recently. Daisy is kind of an old one for that. I even saw chrysanthemum, which that would be a long one to learn to write your name, but I think a lot of those are actually really sweet, and I love kind of those like nature names as well, like Sky with an E I think is so pretty as a middle name, or Avi's middle name is Rain, R-A-Y-N-E. Names like that I think are really sweet as well, especially as middle names. Next one, I actually have a first and middle name, and that is Marigold Faye. Marigold, again, is a name of a flower, but I think the two together are just adorable. Now, obviously, we're having a boy. I think if we were having a girl and we were naming her Marigold Faye, I would want everyone to name her Marigold Faye as like a 2-part name all the time. You could totally shorten it to Mary or Goldie. That's really sweet too. But I love the whole thing, like Marigold Faye. I think it just flows really nicely. Next is Annalise. This reminds me of like an old time movie. I'm thinking like poofy skirts, very feminine name for sure. And then is Romy, spelled R-O-M-E-E. I think it's so cute, but then I saw that it's actually can be boy or girl name, which some people love that. Personally, I like them to be like very feminine names or very masculine names, and so I probably wouldn't go for that one for that reason, but anymore I feel like it's hard to find a name that isn't used for both. In fact, my next one is Florence, which is sweet. My husband's grandma's name is actually Florence, and everybody loves her. She is such a role model to everyone, but I actually love it pronounced Florence, and I think, I don't know what it is about that just has that little ring to it that I absolutely adore. But it is another name that I've seen recently people also using for a boy. So that's something that I keep in mind. I can't imagine like having a little boy and like his playmates and on the playground there's like another Florence who's a girl. I'm sure it happens all the time, but I just, especially some ages growing up, I can just imagine that that would not be a compliment to a little boy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. Love the name otherwise. Next is Colette. I think of a beautiful rose when I think of this name. In fact, you could totally put that together, Colette Rose, and it would be really pretty. Again, it's kind of an old-fashioned name, makes me think of some of these old movies, and I think is so feminine and just like delicate sounding. Next is Avonlea. Again, Anne of Green Gables fan. I think it's so pretty. I actually have a cousin named Avonlea, and so it's the same exact spelling, just pronounced differently, and I think both of them are really pretty, musical sounding, and of course remind me of Anne of Green Gables. Next is Winslow. I think this one is a little bit more modern sounding, but I think it reminds me kind of Willow, which, by the way, when we named Avi, it was either between Avia Rain is her name, or Willow. So we were between the two of them. Kind of funny, after we had Avi, actually maybe a year later, Josh's cousin had a little baby girl and named her Willow, which was so sweet, but we almost named Avi that. And this one sounds pretty similar. Next on the list is Posy. I see this more for a little girl. Again, I don't know if a grown lady would like to be called this. Hot flashes have been coming in strong this pregnancy. I literally will go to church in sandals in December. Whatever hormone makes you warm, I seem to have a lot of it. But last baby girl name on my list is Georgie. I think it's so sweet. I think I've also seen Georgia. I just picture a little girl picking flowers in the meadow, running through the fields, and it's adorable. So anyway, those are 12 baby boy names, 12 baby girl names currently on my list. I hope it gave you some inspiration. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite baby names are. Thank you so much for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.